Financial silence, the wealth strategy nobody talks about. The moment you tell someone you've saved $100,000, you've permanently changed the price of almost everything in that relationship. Not in some abstract or metaphorical way, in a real, measurable, and behavioral way. You've moved an invisible line in their mind and in yours about what's normal to spend, what's fair to expect, and who should be picking up the check at dinner. And here's the part that actually costs you money over time. The bigger the number you reveal, the more expensive that revelation becomes. Not because people will directly steal from you, but because you will start changing. Your spending changes. Your behavior changes. Your identity changes. And most people don't even feel it happening until they look back years later and wonder why their wealth isn't growing the way it should have. This video is about that quiet disappearing act, why financial silence is a legitimate and powerful wealth strategy, not just a personality trait. And if you're anywhere between $50,000 and a few $100,000 in savings, this is especially important for you. Let me start with a number that should make you stop and think. According to a 2023 Charles Schwab survey, 61% of Americans say they're living paycheck to paycheck. But what's more surprising is that 36% of people earning over $100,000 a year also say the same thing. 1 in 3 six-figure earners cannot handle even 1 month without income. That's not just a wage problem or a cost of living problem. That's a visibility problem. When people reach a certain income level and let others see it, they often feel pressure to maintain that image. The restaurants get slightly nicer. The vacations get slightly bigger. The expectations around them quietly shift. And slowly, the money that could have been compounding starts getting spent on maintaining the version of themselves they made public. I want you to hold one image in your mind throughout this video. A submarine. A submarine does its best work when nobody knows where it is. It moves freely, stays safe, and operates on its own terms precisely because it's invisible. The moment it surfaces or makes noise that registers on someone's sonar, it becomes a target. Everything that made it powerful, stealth, freedom, and flexibility disappears instantly. Your wealth works exactly the same way. It compounds best in silence. It creates real options and freedom precisely because it stays invisible. The second you let the wrong people see the blip on the radar, everything gets harder, more expensive, and significantly less free. Let me introduce you to someone I'll call Derek. Derek is a software engineer making around $140,000 a year. A few years ago, he got serious about his finances. He started maxing out his 401k, built a solid emergency fund, and began investing consistently in index funds. He was doing everything right, boring, disciplined, and effective. Then he made one mistake. At a birthday dinner with his college friends, after a couple of drinks, he casually mentioned that he had just crossed $100,000 in investments. He wasn't bragging, he was genuinely proud. He was the first person in his family to reach that level of savings. Watch what happened over the next 2 years. The friend group started choosing slightly nicer restaurants more often. Derek, now seen as the guy who's doing well financially, rarely pushed back. His girlfriend started having different conversations about apartments and lifestyle. When family members needed help with car repairs or unexpected expenses, they started coming to Derek first. He paid because it felt awkward to say no after publicly announcing he had money. By 2022, Derek's net worth had barely moved, despite strong income and consistent saving. Not because anyone directly took advantage of him, but because the identity he created required constant maintenance. That maintenance had a real, ongoing cost that never showed up on any invoice. Now let's talk about Marcus. Marcus is also a consistent earner, somewhere between $90,000 and $120,000 for most of his career. He lived well below his means, drove a used Honda, and quietly built up around $450,000 in investments by his mid-40s. Almost nobody knew the exact number. His friends thought he was comfortable. His family thought he was responsible. His colleagues assumed he was doing okay. Then his father passed away. During the estate settlement process, finances had to be discussed among the siblings. Suddenly, Marcus's number became visible to his family. Within 18 months, Marcus had given away roughly $65,000 in direct and indirect financial help. Some of it he genuinely wanted to give. Some of it he felt unable to refuse without difficult family conversations. That $65,000, if left invested at a 7% average annual return for 20 years, would have grown to over $250,000. Marcus didn't lose the money because he was careless or weak. He lost it because his number became visible, and once it did, social expectations started pulling on it. This isn't just about people asking you for money. It goes deeper than that. Once you publicly establish a financial identity, your own brain starts protecting it. Behavioral research shows that people tend to make spending and lifestyle decisions that feel consistent with the image they've projected to others. Ordering the cheaper option when colleagues are watching can feel slightly off. Saying no to a group trip can feel inconsistent with the version of you that exists in other people's minds. None of this is usually a conscious calculation, but all of it costs real money over time. Here's a simple way to think about it. When you make your financial position visible, you create a ratchet. Every visible upgrade, the nicer car, the better apartment, the restaurant where appetizers cost $28, clicks the ratchet one notch forward. And unlike a dial, a ratchet only moves in one direction. You can escalate. De-escalating without friction, without people noticing, and without awkward conversations is much harder. Now let's talk about what financial silence actually protects. It protects your optionality, your ability to make choices on your own terms. Career choices, life choices, risk-taking choices. When people around you have a rough sense of your number, they also have a sense of your floor. They know what you can absorb. And when you say, "I can't afford that," it sometimes sounds less believable because of what they've already seen. Let me show you the difference with two people. Kevin earns $115,000 a year and has about $180,000 saved. He's reasonably open about doing well. Over 15 years, the social ratchet and identity-driven spending cost him roughly $500 extra per month. That adds up to $90,000 in direct spending and another $147,000 in lost compounding. A total cost of around $237,000. James earns slightly less, $110,000, and has slightly less saved, $170,000. But he tells almost nobody. He drives a perfectly nice but forgettable car. He doesn't post about vacations. His above-baseline social spending stays low, around $60-80 per month. At age 50, James has roughly $300,000 more than Kevin. Same city, similar income, similar discipline. The difference? Visibility. James kept his submarine submerged. Kevin let his surface. So what can you actually do about this? Here are 3 practical things that matter. 1. Audit your financial visibility. Don't just look at your spending. Look at what people know about your finances. What have you said, posted, or implied in the last year? If people have a reasonably accurate picture of your position, you've already surfaced. The first step is to stop adding new data points. No more casual updates. No more visible upgrades that recalibrate how people see you. 2. Separate your financial milestones from your social identity. Hitting $100,000, $250,000, or $500,000 feels like something worth sharing. And it is. But the people best positioned to celebrate with you are usually the same people who now have leverage over your future decisions. Celebrate privately. Tell your partner. Write it down. But don't turn it into public information. 3. Build an invisible floor. This is a liquid amount that only you know about. It's not your emergency fund. It's the number that gives you real optionality, the ability to say yes or no without social pressure or negotiation. The person at the dinner table who could pick up the entire check but orders from the middle of the menu and says nothing. That's not cheapness. That's a submarine that knows exactly where it is and chooses not to ping. The modern world is designed to make your wealth visible. Social media, credit card rewards, luxury marketing, all of it pushes you to broadcast what you have. Staying quiet can feel slightly uncomfortable at first. That discomfort is often a signal that you're doing it right. Your wealth compounds best when it stays submerged. Run silent. Run deep. If this video made you think differently about what you share and what you keep private, hit the like button right now. Subscribe if you want more honest conversations about the real mechanics of building and protecting wealth. And drop a comment below telling me, have you ever shared a financial number and later regretted how it changed things? Because the biggest threat to your wealth isn't always a bad investment or a market crash. Sometimes it's just a single sentence at a dinner table that you can never take back. I'll see you in the next one.